Hello guys. Welcome to MK Recaps. I hope you are having a blessed day. Today, we will be explaining an action and comedy movie released in 2022, titled Day Shift. Stick with me, let's have fun. Bud Jablonski, played by Jamie Foxx, works as a pool cleaner and doubles as a vampire hunter. During one of his pool cleaning jobs, he kills an older female and an adolescent male vampire and collects their fangs to sell for a high price. Audrey San Fernando, a vampire who is also a real estate magnate, is seen torturing Sasha, a low-level criminal vampire. Audrey reveals her grand plans for the Los Angeles vampire community, and the camera pans to a sign of her development project, highlighting her wealth and power. Upon returning home to his apartment, Bud's financial struggles are revealed as he is shown to be behind on rent. After taking a shower, he picks up his daughter Paige, played by Zion Broadnax, from school. Although still legally married to Jocelyn, played by Megan Good, they live separately. Bud takes Paige to a frozen yogurt shop and returns home with her late. Jocelyn informs Bud that she plans to take Paige to her grandmother's house in Florida, leaving Bud heartbroken at the thought of being separated from his daughter. In a desperate attempt to keep his daughter with him, Bud promises to come up with the money to pay for Paige's expenses, including braces, by Monday. Jocelyn, who separated from Bud due to his past lies, is hesitant to believe him but gives him a chance. Bud intends to sell his recently harvested vampire fangs to raise around $10,000. Bud pays a visit to Troy, an untrustworthy pawn shop owner, hoping to sell his vampire fangs. However, Troy offers him only a fraction of what he could get at the Union, a vampire hunting organization from which Bud was expelled. With the deadline approaching, Bud reaches out to his old friend Big John Elliott, played by Snoop Dogg, to help him get back into the Union. Meanwhile, Audrey threatens her business partner with the same fate as Sasha if he reneges on their deal. She also reveals that she has a product that allows vampires to walk in daylight. Audrey and her henchman Klaus visit the house where Bud killed the two vampires, and it is revealed that the old woman was dear to her heart. She vows to seek revenge on whoever was responsible for her death. Big John and Bud meet with Ralph Seeger, the director of the Union, outside the organization's headquarters. Seeger is initially reluctant to allow Bud back in due to his history of code violations, but after much persuasion, he agrees to let Bud work the less profitable day shift. Bud and Big John head to the financial department to receive payment for Bud's vampire fangs. The cashier, Seth, played by Dave Franco, initially offers a substantial sum, but then reduces it significantly after factoring in various fees. Seeger instructs Seth to partner up with Bud and report any code violations he makes, in exchange for a promotion to his superior Carol's position. Although reluctant, Seth agrees to Seeger's proposal. Bud is visibly impressed by Seth's impressive theoretical knowledge about vampires, but he tries not to show it. Meanwhile, Audrey pays a visit to Troy with the intention of intimidating him, but ends up killing him instead. During their first mission together, Bud instructs Seth to remain in the car, but Seth receives a call from Seeger, who asks him to investigate any potential code violations inside the building. Seth is horrified by the sight of the vampire massacre and ends up wetting himself and vomiting outside the car. Despite this, Bud begins to develop a soft spot for Seth and takes him home. Later, when Bud arrives at his own home, he welcomes Heather, Natasha Lou Bordizzo, a new tenant who claims to be a nurse. The following day, Bud discovers that Seth has been reporting him for multiple code violations. Upon investigating Troy's pawn shop, they discover his dead body with his teeth removed and displayed on his desk. Bud confesses to Seth that he needs the money to support his family, and Seth agrees not to report him to Seeger. During their next mission, Bud and Seth team up with the famous hunters, the Nazarian brothers, who pose as stereo repairmen. Together, They clear out a vampire nest and uncover the mysterious product from earlier, a vampire sunscreen that allows them to withstand sunlight for a short period of time. Seth notices that the nest contains various types of vampires who would not typically coexist. While Bud acknowledges Seth's observation, he has to leave to pick up Paige from school. Feeling uneasy, Bud asks Paige if she would prefer to stay home once they return. However, Jocelyn reminds him that she has been excited about attending a birthday party for a week, and insists that they go. Despite his reservations, Bud agrees to take them. While at the party, Bud receives a threatening phone call from Audrey, who threatens to kidnap his wife and daughter. He quickly gets Paige into the car and is pursued by Audrey's accomplices. In the parking lot, he kills one of the assailants and engages in a high-speed car chase as Paige occupies herself with her iPad in the back seat. When Bud returns Paige to Jocelyn, he is ambushed by Audrey and her thugs. He tells his wife and daughter about his secret and that he is a vampire hunter. Bud is knocked unconscious, and when he awakens, it is revealed that Seth was bitten and turned into a vampire. Seth lunges at Bud, who cuts off his head, unable to control his hunger. Seth's condition is still unstable because he was turned by a uber vampire, and cutting off his head does not kill him. Bud returns to his apartment complex and seeks out Heather, the only person he trusts with his secret. Upon finding her, he discovers that she is also a vampire who was turned by Audrey. The two engage in a brief scuffle before Heather divulges the truth about the elderly vampire that Bud recently destroyed. She was actually Audrey's daughter, who was turned into a vampire after she had aged significantly in human years. While Bud is dealing with Heather, Audrey and Klaus take Jocelyn and Paige to an underground temple lair. In the meantime, Heather reveals Audrey's plan to flood the valley with vampires by purchasing property all over the area to facilitate their arrival. Bud, Seth, and Heather venture to an abandoned shopping mall and easily defeat several of Audrey's henchmen. However, their success is short-lived as they soon find themselves surrounded. Just as it seems all hope is lost, Big John arrives with his minigun and single-handedly takes down dozens of Audrey's minions. Determined to take down Audrey, Bud and John venture into the underground compound where they discover a production facility for a vampire sunscreen staffed by vampires. Despite the odds stacked against them, they manage to overpower the vampires. Meanwhile, Klaus senses Bud's presence and alerts Audrey. As Bud and John continue their mission, they are suddenly ambushed by a pack of vampires, resulting in John being bitten. Knowing he is unlikely to survive, John selflessly sacrifices himself by closing the gate behind Bud and urging him to find his family. With Bud out of sight, John uses the remaining bullets in his gun to take out as many vampires as possible before detonating an explosive on his belt, killing his enemies and sealing his fate. Klaus confronts Bud, but Heather and Seth crash through the roof to provide support and urge Bud to go find Paige and Jocelyn. Despite their valiant efforts, Klaus easily gains the upper hand in combat. Meanwhile, Bud manages to locate Paige and Jocelyn with Audrey. However, Bud is quickly defeated in combat by Audrey, who intends to deliver the killing bite. Klaus has Seth and Heather in a choke hold, so they join forces and pull his arms off, defeating him. Bud fires his final silver bullet at Audrey's neck, reveals that Audrey has run into his wire trap, decapitating her. Audrey is destroyed as her severed head mocks Bud one last time. Bud musters up the courage to ask Jocelyn if he can move back in with her and Paige. She kisses Bud on the cheek as a sign of affection. As the camera pans out to the horizon, Big John is revealed to be alive and crawling out of a manhole, leaving the possibility open that he may have been turned into a vampire. Following the final battle, everyone returns upstairs, where they encounter a distraught Seeger. As he begins to cite union regulations in an attempt to permanently expel Bud, Seth defends him by refuting all of his claims. An enraged Seeger informs Seth that he will not be promoted to Carol's position, but Seth informs him that he is now a field man and will continue to fight vampires alongside Bud. Thanks for watching, guys. Give the video a like and subscribe to our channel if you loved the video. This really means a lot to the team and would help reach out to our loved ones. Have a blessed day. Thank you.